Funding for this program made possible by Kentucky American Water, Paducah McCracken Joint Sewer Agency, Paducah Water.
On the other side of the Commonwealth, Paducah's River Discovery Center aims to ensure that its river history does not wash away. The center celebrates the natural and historical lives of the 4 major rivers that converge near it. How do you move a ton of cargo over 600 miles on 1 gallon of fuel? Let's find out.
Which place has more freight tonnage annually, the Panama Canal or Paducah, Kentucky? It's Paducah, Kentucky by a long shot, as a matter of fact. We are actually at the nexus of the busiest and most important concentration of navigable waterways in the world.
Well, Paducah exists because it's on a river, and a lot of visionaries in our community felt that there was a real need for a river museum to highlight Paducah's rich river heritage, as well as our river industry that is so important for this community. The reason we are here is because we want to educate about our rivers and all of our inland waterways. Paducah is at the confluence of the Ohio and Tennessee rivers and not far from the Mississippi and Cumberland rivers. So it's just so important for both adults and children to learn about the impact of our rivers and how important they are to our existence and in our daily lives. Well, really we touch on almost every single aspect of the river.
We spend time going through the interactive exhibits. We spend time in the navigation simulator, which is one of their favorite activities. It's like a big video game. And we also spend time in the classroom. We take a lot of things from the river. We, of course, here in Paducah get our drinking water from the Tennessee River. It's important to teach children that they can have fun on the river. Transportation of cargo, of course, is very important for them to learn about. And it's very, very important for them to learn about the life that lives within the river, as well as the life in the riparian environment, the animals that live on the land and in the air. They need to be connected to where they're growing up. They need to understand the role of the rivers, the history. The flood of 1937 was the most devastating flood in recorded history in Paducah. 20,000 residents of Paducah had to be relocated during this flood. People were not prepared. The day that the river got its deepest, it was rising at a rate of 1 foot per hour. So it trapped people in their homes. The flood in Paducah stretched out 28 blocks all the way out to 28th Street, and they said in places the Ohio River was 10 miles wide. It was a very devastating event for Paducah. So the Army Corps of Engineers went to work to prevent this kind of devastation happening again, and flood walls were built in all the cities along the Ohio River that had been affected by the flood. The Paducah flood wall was completed in 1944, and it's been in place ever since.
We have lots of steamboats that stop here. They're very important to the business of our River Discovery Center, and we love our visits from the Queens. They're from all over the world. They just bring such a wonderful flavor to our community, and I think they enjoy coming and learning more about the heritage of steamboating.
Many of our passengers love the Mississippi River system. A lot of them, especially this week that we're on right now, have sailed on the whole Mississippi River system year after year. We are aboard the Queen of the Mississippi. She sails the whole Mississippi River system all the way up to St. Paul, Minnesota, as well as a little bit to the east on the Ohio River to Cincinnati, Ohio, down to St. Louis, Memphis, and of course down to New Orleans. Our vessels with American Cruise Lines are all smaller vessels. They're not these 3,000 passenger cruise ships. Therefore, we're able to get into these small towns and offer unique tours. Our passengers love coming to these small towns, like I said, in the heartland of America. They love Paducah, Kentucky, so our passengers are able to experience small town USA, and they love that.
They can learn really everything about river commerce, the history of our rivers, how important the industry is to this region. We've got a great deal of support from our community, from the river industry. They know how important we are, and we exist because of that support.
Our students who come in are absolutely exposed to a possible future of working on the river. We often have members of Towboats who come in and speak with the children. We talk to them about what it's like to be a member of a towboat crew. It's very important that our young people are exposed to the towboat industry, the importance of it to our nation's economy.
When people ask me, they say, "Oh, are they still doing that out there?" And I said, "Yeah, very much so." "You do this 24 hours a day?" And we said, "Of course we do, because our economy depends upon it. Our way of life depends upon it." And we stand on the bank of the river, and we say, "Oh, that's just a towboat." And then I say, "Do you know how big that towboat is?" I said, "Did you know that a standard tow on the Ohio River is considerably larger in surface area and in length than a Nimitz-class aircraft carrier?"
Yeah, I think sometimes it is overlooked as it is the cheapest form of transportation for bulk commodity. Well, when you take a snapshot of Ingram Barges Company, we'll load on average 115 barges a day. And this is just Ingram Barge Company. Barge unloading, loading facilities, you got to have repair and maintenance facilities, you got to have fueling facilities. I don't know what the number would be in reference to how many people are associated with keeping boats and barges moving up the river, but it's huge.
You're at the Seamen's Church Institute Center for Maritime Education in Paducah, Kentucky. Actually, we're in what this is called the control room, and basically what we do is observe the mariners as they train in our simulators, which is in another part of the building. We can monitor their actions and reactions to the situations that are put before them. The Seamen's Church Institute began in the early to mid 1800s. They built a church on a barge, sent it out into the New York harbor as the sailors would come in, and they would offer them a safe haven. The simulator helps us to be able to go in and run or build a situation. Maybe a company has a particular problem that they want to enhance on, they want to get their mariners aware of. We have a 260-degree visual, front, side, and rear, and we can make it pretty realistic. The nice thing about doing it here is we can stop anytime we want to and regroup. We can stop at a particular moment, go in the classroom, discuss what's going on, and go back in the simulator and then start back up again in the same spot. In the real world, you can't do drills like that. You're underway. You can't just stop at any given moment and say, okay, we're going to have a drill. It doesn't cost anything to run into each other here.
If the River Discovery Center did not exist, there really wouldn't be a place for our community, both children and adults, as well as all the visitors that come from outside of Paducah, to learn about our river and how important it is and all about its rich heritage.
I think it'd be unfortunate to be lost. You know, I know the work they do over there. I've had the pleasure of participating with some work with children over there before. Ingram is heavily involved with that piece of business because, you know, I think it's kind of a hidden treasure. The earlier you educate people about what the river does for communities all up and down the river, what it can do for individuals, what it can do for career opportunities, to spark that interest, the better off everybody is. And I hope they continue to do it in the future.
It's so important for all of us to know where we came from. And it's really important for children especially to know about the heritage of the community that they came from, but also present day, how vitally important our rivers are to us.
The Mississippi River system and its tributaries have been the main artery of commerce for years, for generations.
It's vitally important that our children in this community and in this region know about the heritage of our rivers, how important our rivers are to us, and we want to continue educating about that.
One study showed that if the grains had to be carried only by trucks, a box of Cheerios would run about $75, you know, like caviar. But I think it's about time that we thank the members of the U.S. Merchant Marine, i.e. those river rats, the river mariners. We are all dependent upon your labors, your sacrifice, and those of your family who make it possible for us to have pavement and gasoline in our vehicles and a box of Cheerios that doesn't cost $75.